Hey everyone, welcome to the KE Report and a company update coming from Sitka Gold, following up on the company's updated resource at the RC Gold Project in the Yukon in the Tombstone Gold Belt. The maiden resource was released back in 2023 at the beginning of 2023, and now the company has fairly significantly increased that resource to right around 2.8 million ounces when you combine both the indicated and inferred resource. I am chatting right now with Mike Burke, Director and Vice President of Corporate Development. Sitka Gold is traded on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol SIG, on the OTCQB under the symbol SITKF, and the Frankfurt Exchange 1RF. Now, Mike, let's just talk about how much work went into this updated resource. It's been really 2 years of drilling to grow on that maiden resource that was initially at, I believe, right around 1.3 million ounces, all in inferred. Take us through all the work that went into this updated resource, please.
Yeah, so that initial resource, 1.34 million ounces, that was the inferred resource in both the Blackjack and the Eiger deposits. They're about 2 kilometers apart. And so when you're reporting ounces in the same resource category, you can combine them. The Blackjack was the higher grade of the two deposits, 900,000 ounces at a grade of 0.83 grams per ton. So that's been the deposit where we focused our efforts in the last couple of years. So that estimate was based on about 7,500 meters of drilling. Since then, we've done an additional over 11,000 meters of drilling, and that's the work that fed into this new mineral resource. So the new mineral resource, it's an indicated pit-constrained resource of just under 1.3 million ounces at a grade of 1.01 grams per ton gold, and an inferred resource at just a little over 1 million ounces at a grade of 0.94. So just to explain the difference quickly between indicated and inferred, they're just different levels of confidence in that resource. So a tighter drill spacing where we've drilled at a greater density within the Blackjack, we report that as indicated mineral resources. Our qualified person, our independent, does all that. And then the other areas that are drilled to a lesser density, you can bring them into inferred. So technically, we cannot add those two different resource categories together, but everybody can add 1.3 and 1 together and come up with an estimate of the number of ounces contained in that deposit. And then additionally, the Eiger, we haven't done any work on the Eiger in the last couple of years, but that initial resource there was 440,000 ounces at half a gram. So that is one of the areas where definitely in the future, in 2025, we're going to be doing additional work to hopefully do the same thing that we did at Blackjack, expand that deposit and increase the grade.
Can you also explain this increase in the cutoff grade? I believe it went from 0.25 grams per ton gold to now 0.3 grams per ton gold, again, at the Blackjack deposit. What's important to understand about that increase in cutoff grade?
It's always a decision to make what your cutoff grade is based on economics. So you can look at different cutoff grades, but certainly by raising the grade, you're not including, lower grade kind of, it might be marginal material to bring into your resource, but this resource estimates at a price of $2,000 per ounce gold US. So it firms up the deposit, I guess, to give you a little more confidence that you're actually not overestimating the amount of gold. If we really push down that cutoff grade and added ounces into the deposit, there's the chance that you're including, potentially uneconomic ounces in there and just inflating the total ounces of gold in your deposit. So we'd prefer to be, a little bit conservative on doing that. So that's what we did.
There's also a point here that in figures 2 and 3, there's a well-defined, consistent core of 1 gram per ton or greater material that extends from surface to a depth of 660 meters and remains open in all directions. Mike, give us more information on this higher grade area. When can we quantify how many ounces that is? What's important to note about this higher grade core that you're finding?
Yeah, I mean, that's just going to feed into the economics, down the road when people do start doing pre-feasibilities or whatever. But really, what it shows is the consistency of the grade in this deposit. And that's something that we always noted right from the discovery hole 21, that hit that, 220 meters, 1.17, is that there was higher grade material, better than a gram within this deposit right from surface. So if you can, have higher grade zones that you can mine early in the mine life, you're just going to be paying off that capital cost quicker and really positively impacting the economics. So it's important to note that there's this consistent higher grade portion of this deposit that's going to, positively affect those economics down the road.
You've said economics a number of times. I do need to ask you, when does it become a priority for Sitka Gold to put some economics around this asset?
Well, that's a great question because, this year we acquired that ground to the south from Victoria Gold, the southern part of the Clear Creek intrusive complex. And we have two discoveries, the Pukelman and the Rhosgobel intrusions. So, we're talking about potentially two new deposits that we've discovered. I mean, we just have two holes in them each. But this year we have 10,000 meters of drilling planned for Rhosgobel and 5,000 meters for Pukelman. And if we're, successful in outlining initial resource at either or both of those deposits, all of a sudden you're looking at, Blackjack, Eiger, Pukelman, Rhosgobel that are feeding into the economics of this project. So it's too early to just pull out the Blackjack and start doing economic studies on that until we have a better idea of the entire endowment of this Clear Creek intrusive complex. So that's the goal this year with our 30,000 meters of drilling. We're fully financed, $15 million. So we should be able to get a very good idea of where other potential deposits exist on the property and hopefully have a good size of the potential and size of those. So then you're going to start moving into doing the economics on the project as a whole and not just a small, what could potentially be a small piece of it.
Okay, let's just reiterate again that 30,000 meters of drilling plan for this year. By far the largest program that Sitka has undertaken. You already alluded to some of that allocation of those 30,000 meters. Break it down for us again. Where are those 30,000 meters being allocated, and what are they being allocated for? What are the goals around each of these different targets?
Okay, so 15,000 meters, we're going to continue drilling the Blackjack, the Eiger, and the Saddle Zone, so in the northern part of the complex there. And the goal there is to keep expanding those deposits. This updated mineral resource estimate isn't the final update. We still haven't drilled the Blackjack deposit off, so we got to keep going on that. We're going to continue to test the down dip, the deeper portion where we think there's potential for underground, resources. And then Saddle Zone is midway between Eiger and Blackjack. It's going to be within the conceptual pit shell that's outlined. So as we do drilling there and convert, mineralized rock that is now classified as waste, that'll change the economics of the Blackjack and add to that resource. And then the Eiger, as I mentioned, we will get back in there. We've got a lot of ideas now with the work we've done on Blackjack on controls of mineralization. So we'll go in there with the goal of increasing the size and grade of the Eiger. Then the Rhosgobel, where we drilled, over 100 meters of 1 gram in our very first diamond drill hole in that area. That has a large footprint as defined by that 1995 Kennecott drilling. So we're going to go follow up on those discovery holes and continue to step out with 10,000 meters of drilling. The goal there to come up with an initial resource by the end of the year. And then the Pukelman intrusion, where we hit again another discovery hole, lower grade at 350 meters, at 0.3 grams, but plenty of 1 gram hits within that, proving that the intrusive is mineralized, but knowing that we didn't drill the part of the intrusion that we really wanted to focus on. We drilled off existing roads at the last 2 holes of the season. There's an area we want to get to. We'll focus on that with the 5,000 meters this next year, and same goal. outlining an initial resource there.
What about some of these other areas that are within this news release, like Bear Paw, like Josephine? Any plans to get some holes into those this year?
Yeah, we might, we'll see how things go, and might get some holes into the Bear Paw Breccia. We've got, plans for that. We've designed drill holes. Same with Josephine. We've got, a pretty long list of targets to drill. We plan those ahead, and then we start the season. And just like every year, your plans change with the very first hole that you drilled. So that's part of the beauty or the challenge in mineral exploration is you have to be flexible and pivot. So we'll start that drilling program, and then we'll focus on the best areas that come out of the wash. And we're never going to drill all the targets that we have in 1 year. So there's a lot of additional targets in our pipeline, but eventually they're all going to get the drill bit into them.
All right, Mike, great chatting with you. Thank you very much for this update. On the back of this updated resource, I will post a link to the Sitka website so you can read through that full news release. Please email me with any questions you have for Mike and the team for our future interviews. Again, Mike Burke, Director and Vice President of Corporate Development at Sitka Gold. Mike, it was great seeing you at these recent conferences, and I do appreciate you stepping away from them to update us on this updated resource.
Very happy to update you on this resource. It's a great day. We're very pleased with the work we've done over the last few years. So great chatting, Corey. Thank you very much.